You know, what's funny is a lot of people start thinking like that's a fake leg, like that's not your leg. And I'm like, honestly, I wish it was a fake leg because, you know, my body wouldn't hate me as much. But like that really is my leg.
Today we are joined by Tyler Manzer, senior photographer at Kith and the man behind the lens of footwear's most iconic shoots, also known as Arab Lincoln, the shoelace whisperer. Where are you from originally, and what has been your journey with footwear?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's truly an honor, and the Lace Whisperer is definitely something I'm adding to my IG bio as soon as we get off this call, so thank you for that. I always think about, as cliche as it may sound, for I think a lot of people in this era and like around my age group definitely have like a connection with sneakers because of Michael Jordan, right? So I won't like harp on that too much, but definitely watching him play, you know, was just like a highlight and definitely something that's at like the frontal lobe of my mind whenever I think about sneakers. I always was fond of the footwear he was wearing, and I wasn't like super knowledgeable. I knew they were Jordans, obviously, but I didn't know like maybe all the numbers and like the design stories behind them all, and started doing a little bit more research and, you know, finding out some of the history behind it. And then that like naturally led me to a lot of the early Jordan brand and Nike campaigns with like Spike Lee as Mars Blackman. And it's like, wow, I really like this. This is so unique. And, so I dived into that even more, and I was just like, wow, there's even like Wieden and Kennedy, this agency, that's like part of this campaign as well. So now you have all of these different, you know, chefs in one kitchen that are cooking up some of like the craziest visuals that I had ever personally seen. So then around that time too, I was also like really becoming more familiar with sneakers as a whole. And I got on Nike Talk, which was to me still the Mecca. Yeah, it's one of the most important things for me too growing up, because there was just so much information. And also within Nike Talk were all these different threads, right, and different forums. And this one, I think it was the Sneaker Showcase forum, there was a thread called 6 Sneaker Picks or something to that nature.
Of course.
Like, whoa, what is this? So I click on that and I start seeing like all these different things, you know, people taking pictures of sneakers similar to like what I was kind of doing. I start like posting some of my own photos in there. I'm getting like really good reactions. So I was like, you know what? Like, I gotta keep doing this because like this feels good, you know, like, you know, there's always like self-validation, right? That's if it feels good to you, then you know that's really what's most important. But in order to really, I think, gain traction and start making something, you know, it is important that other people kind of gravitate towards it, because if it's only you, then that's great, but you may not be able to make anything of it, or, you know, I don't know. I think around 2013-ish, I want to say, there's this gentleman named Ronnie Feig, who I'm sure most of y'all are pretty familiar with. And he was kind of shaping and shifting the landscape for ASICS. There was an ASICS commercial running during those playoffs, at least back, you know, I don't know if the commercials are different, you know, like when you're watching, I figure they are, right? At least on my TV screen, there was an ASICS commercial that had like ran during the playoffs. I was like, that's weird. I've never seen an ASICS commercial. Just got done shooting ASICS. Weird. So anyway, I'm editing this photo. The Knicks, I think, are losing this. I think it was like game 3 or 4. And I'm like, whatever. And it's funny because I remember Ronnie was like tweeting that he was at the game. And I was like, interesting. I'm still editing this photo and I'm gonna post it, like whatever. So I get the photo edited, and I'm like, you know what? Just like shoot your shot, right? Just like talk some shit. Maybe we'll see what happens. Like, you feel good about the photo. Let's see what happens. So this was back before you could like tag people in the photo, right? On Instagram, you'd actually have to like mention their name in the caption.
Yeah.
So I was like, at Ronnie Feig, you are going to give me an opportunity to shoot for you, period, post, send it out into the world. And I'm like, let's see what happens. So I put my phone down for like a second and like go back to the game. Knicks are getting their ass kicked. I'm like, whatever. Like, this was probably a terrible time, and like when I was thinking to post something like this, because I know Ronnie's probably tight.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe this will brighten his day up. I don't know. We'll see. So I picked my phone back up, scrolling through. It was easy to go through notifications then. It is definitely not as easy as it is now, or then, whatever. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm looking at it, and I see his name pop up, and it says that he liked the photo, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like, that's sick. Like, he's seen it. So, like, whether or not anything happens from it, like,
the message has been received.
Yeah. I refreshed the page another time, like maybe like a minute later, comment from Ronnie Feig, yes, I will. And I was like, wow. I was like, holy shit, this has gotten real. So there was like excitement, anxiety, all these different emotions just like running through my head, without sounding too cheesy, but it was like a montage of like all these different like moments that I felt like kind of led up to this one, like, whatever situation, just like going by really quick in my head. It's like, this is nuts. So like, I like jumped out of my, like, I'm not gonna even front, like I jumped out of the chair like that I was sitting in. I was like in a lazy boy, and I wasn't feeling very lazy at that time because I jumped up and I was excited.
I've had the luxury to work with you at KISS over your 8 years, so it was definitely a pleasure to kind of watch your craft go and like elevate, and like been able to see it change.
Yeah.
How do you continue to challenge yourself or evolve your style?
So for me, I think one of the big moments for me and for the brand is when we switched from shooting natural environment shoots for the footwear into the studio. So we started doing studio stuff. I was like, all right, I'm like really like talking to myself about this like the whole time, like, what are you gonna do that's gonna like really change it up and like set yourself apart from just like, no offense, Zappos or something, right? Because that's what I think about, like when I think at that time, like white background photography, like Zappos or something.
You summoned the lace whisperer inside of you.
And then that came in because like even when we started doing studio for the first time, like I was like trying to get nice with like the laces, but at this point, like it was still a little bit of a struggle. But like every day I would come in, I would just work on it, and like even to like this day, like just the other day, I was having difficulty with like a lace because some sick fucking joke with like some of these brands and, like what they do and like how long the laces they'll make or how short or like the material they'll use to like. I'm just like, so any brands that are using like A1 laces, I thank you, because you make my life so much easier when you do that. And for those that don't, thank you very little. Something
you've also made legendary. I'm sure a ton of people have ankle problems because of this, but your iconic ankle sock pose. I've tried it. I've tried it myself, I'm trying to get my leg. My leg
is like twitching right now. Like, oh no, you're not. No, you're not gonna go do that photo right now. That photo, it's like, even when I started doing it, I just thought like, this is so dumb. Like, but and then it kind of got fun too, because I was just like, all right, like, how can I like start making a little bit different here and there, and like start playing with the sock a little bit, or like the pant, and like
many ankles have been sprained because of you.
Yeah, and like honestly, I have taken a little bit of a break from it because like my leg is starting to feel the side effects here, but Nah, just, you got to stretch daily. And I think I was stretching too much. So,
No,
yeah.
it's perfect. I mean, I've tried myself and I'm just like, I look back at the picture, I'm like, it's not the same.
I know.
I'm like, does he have 3 arms? I'm like, what's going on here? Like, how do I get this done? Like, do I just lay down?
Yeah. What's funny is a lot of people start thinking like that's a fake leg. Like that's not your leg. And I'm like, honestly, I wish it was a fake leg because, my body wouldn't hate me as much. But like that really is my leg.
And so, when did you launch Makeshift Studio, and why was it important for you to have that space?
Well, I had been doing stuff with Makeshifts, like in that division of my life, for like before the Instagram page popped up. I would say one of the first things that I did. Hold up. This was one of the first ones, actually. So this is obviously the Travis, but like we took off the the very thing that made it the Travis one, which it's sort of an asshole thing to do. I know, but at the time, to be fair, I was like really having a hard time getting behind the backward swoosh. Like I was like, whoa, what the hell? Like.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm like, I don't know. It was definitely polarizing, to say the least. And I was like, all right, I'm taking that off and I'm going to replace it with a regular swoosh. But in order to be, I guess that was kind of disrespectful in a way, which I apologize, as that wasn't my intention. But in order to make it a little bit more, respectful, I put the swoosh from the original Air Force One Travis back onto it. So like, kind of hard to see, but you can. And the cool thing too is like these come off, right? So like you can put whatever you want on there because it's Velcro. But yeah, been working hard on that, and it's important for me that I have this channel because, I have like a lot of these like crazy ideas, and like it's really just a creative outlet for me. To be able to kind of express myself in some different kind of ways. And I've always been, I wouldn't call myself like a sneaker customizer or anything like that. It's just something, it's something fun, to do. Takes my mind off of like the day-to-day stuff. And it actually helps too with a lot of my day-to-day stuff too, because a lot of times whenever I'm able to, venture off and journey, like take these like little small like field trips and journeys to do like some of my own stuff, like it gives me like this energy and inspiration to bring back to home base. Yeah. So it's been really fun.
Is there a sneaker out there you haven't shot that you would love to get your hands on, past or present?
The Batman 6s are like that boot, like modified 6 thing, like from like the movie of Batman. that would be fire. That would be so cool because it's like, it's like costume design meets like our world.
Yeah.
I would say the original mags, but like I did take a pretty crazy photo of my personal pair that I'm so blessed and fortunate to have. That was like one of my favorite shoots still to like this day. But if I went into like a similar kind of approach, it would be the Batman 6s.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah.
And that's it. We're done.
Wow, that went quick.